In the last class, we have learnt about asymptotic notations, right? Big O, big omega, and big theta. So, big O, it represents smaller order of growth, and omega represent larger order of growth, and theta represents same order of growth. We have seen that, right? Today, we'll discuss limit-based computing for comparison of the complexity, time complexity, using limits for comparing orders of growth. We know that the formal definitions, whatever we have discussed, big O, omega, and theta, are used for proving their abstract properties. Abstract properties, I told you, big O for smaller order of growth, omega for larger order of growth, and theta for equal order of growth. They are rarely used for comparing the orders of growth of two specific functions. A much more convenient method for doing so is based on computing the limit of the ratio of two functions in question. That is, if we have very slight difference in two functions, then it is difficult to check with these abstract formal definitions of big O, omega, and theta. So when we compare it with limits, we'll get the exact answer. So three principal cases based on computing limits. So limit n tends to infinity, t of n divided by g of n is equal to, here t of n is one function and g of n is another function. So you have two functions here, you are going to compare that. Okay, we have two functions here, we are going to compare that using limit. So we have to apply the limit here. Okay, limit will be usually n tends to infinity. It is up to infinity. N value can be up to infinity. T of n divided by g of n. We have to perform the operation T of n divided by g of n. Division operation we have to perform here, which is equal to, if the value which we get equal to 0, if the value is 0 after division, then it means that T of n has a smaller order of growth than g of n. Okay, T of n has smaller order of growth than g of n. If c is greater than 0, that is some constant value. C is greater than 0, some constant value other than the value of 0. Okay, it means that T of n has same order of growth as g of n. And infinity, if the division value is infinity, then it means that T of n has a larger order of growth than g of n. Okay, so here we have to note the first two cases means that T of n belongs to big O of g of n, that is greater than, equal to 0 or greater than 0. Okay, equal to 0, greater than 0, usually less than or equal to. Usually less than or equal to, T of n is less than or equal to g of n means will get 0 or more than 0. Okay, that means it belongs to big O of g of n. Okay, the last two means, that is c greater than 0, and if it is infinity, the last two mean that T of n belongs to omega of g of n. Okay, that means T of n has larger order of growth than g of n. Okay, then, and the second case means that T of n belongs to theta of g of n. Okay, that is, it is having equal order of growth, same order of growth, then we say that T of n belongs to theta of g of n. I hope you are getting. Less than or equal to means big O of g of n. Greater than or equal to means omega of g of n. Equal to means theta of g of n. Okay, so first two. What is first two? First two is smaller order of growth and same order of growth. So less than or equal to. So it is big O of g of n. Last two means it is having same order of growth or larger order of growth. So greater than or equal to. Greater than or equal to means omega of g of n. And then second case, that is equal to means, that is same order of growth means it is theta of g of n. Okay, I hope you understood. Remember, if we get 0, it is having smaller order of growth. If it is greater than 0, other than the number, positive number other than 0, then it is same order of growth. If it is infinity, then it is having larger order of growth. We'll discuss this with an example. So calculus techniques developed for computing limits. So here we have two formulas. If required, we can use this for division. Okay, we cannot directly divide means we can use this techniques. Okay. First one is L'Hopital's rule. So limit n tends to infinity t of n divided by g of n. If we cannot divide it directly, then differentiate it. Okay, limit n tends to infinity t dash of n divided by g dash of n. If we cannot divide directly, then differentiate it. Okay, that is L'Hopital's rule. Then Stirling's formula. Stirling's formula is n factorial is approximately equal to square root of 2 pi n into n divided by e whole to the power of n. That is for large values of n. For all the large values of n factorial can be. Because if we cannot find out the value of n factorial, it will be approximately equal to square root of 2 pi n divided by e whole to the power of n. That is, if we cannot divide it directly, then we can apply this in place of n factorial. Okay. So examples. First example, let's consider. Compare the orders of growth of half n into n minus 1 and n square. So t of n is half n into n minus 1 and g of n is n square. Okay. First function is t of n and second function is n square. Okay. Then limit n tends to infinity half n into n minus 1 divided by n square. Okay, t of n divided by g of n, right? T of n divided by g of n. So here half n into n minus 1 is t of n divided by n square is g of n. Okay, which is equal to half into limit n tends to infinity n square minus n divided by n square. So take that constant outside. Take that half outside because it's a constant. It doesn't depend on the value of n. It doesn't depend on the value of n. Remove it and take it outside. Okay. So n square minus n into n square minus n into 1 n. Okay. N square minus n divided by n square. Then apply again. So division. So half into limit n tends to infinity n square divided by n square minus n divided by n square. So n square minus n we have on the numerator and denominator we have n square. So divide it n square divided by n square minus n divided by n square. So we'll get half into limit n tends to infinity 1 minus 1 divided by n. Okay. Now apply the limit value here. Apply the limit value 1 minus 1 divided by infinity. 1 divided by infinity is 0. Right? 1 divided by infinity is 0. So 1 minus 0 is 1. 1 into half, it is half. So we'll get the answer as 1 by 2. 1 by 2 means it is greater than 0. Right? It is greater than 0. If it is equal to 0, it is having smaller order of growth. But it is not equal to 0. It is greater than 0. So it is having same order of growth. Since the limit is equal to a positive constant other than 0, the function have the same order of growth, or symbolically half n into n minus 1 belongs to theta of n square. Okay, t of n belongs to theta of g of n. Half n into n minus 1 belongs to theta of n square. I hope you understood. Okay, we'll go for the second example. Compare the orders of growth of log n to the base 2 and square root of n. So limit n tends to infinity log n to the base 2 divided by square root of n. So here we cannot directly divide this. It is difficult to divide log n to the base 2 divided by square root of n. It is difficult to simplify also because we don't know the value of n here. It is difficult to simplify. So just differentiate this using L'Hopital's rule. Limit n tends to infinity. So log n to the base 2 whole to the power of dash and square root of n dash. Okay. So differentiate this. When we differentiate this, log n to the base 2 will be converted to log e to the base 2 into 1 divided by n. Okay. Log e to the base 2 into 1 divided by n divided by 1 divided by square root of n. Okay. This is also the differentiation of square root of n. Square root of n is equal to half, that is half into 1 divided by square root of n, right? So here differentiate this. After that will be, so simplify this. To simplify this, log e to the base 2 divided by n, that is on the numerator. In the numerator, we have log e to the base 2 divided by n. And in the denominator, we have 1 divided by 2 square root of n, right? So simplify this. So when we multiply, we have log e to the base 2 divided by n into 2 square root of n divided by 1. Okay, take it to the numerator. Okay, take it to the numerator. So we'll be having 2 into log e to the base 2. It is a constant. Log e to the base 2 and 2. It's a constant term which doesn't depend on the value of n. So take it outside. 2 log e to the base 2. Limit n tends to infinity. So we have left with square root of n divided by n. Okay, we have left with square root of n divided by n. So apply the limit here. So when we apply the limit, so we'll be having square root of infinity divided by infinity, which is equal to 0. Okay, square root of infinity, it's a small value. Divided by infinity, it's a large value again. So it is equal to 0. So 0 into 2 log e to the base 2 is also 0. That means what? So when we have 0, log into the base 2 is having smaller order of growth than square root of n, right? Since the limit is equal to 0, log into the base 2 has a smaller order of growth than square root of n. But we cannot say that it is in big O of g of n. Okay, we cannot say that it is in big O. Reason is the value is equal to 0. Value must be less than or equal to. If we get the value as less than or equal to some value, then we can say that it is in big O notation. But here it is exactly equal to 0. Here it is exactly equal to 0. Wait for a second. Okay, it is exactly equal to 0. So we can say that it is in little o notation. Remember that if the division, if you get it is exactly equal to 0, it will be having smaller order of growth. Okay, it will be having smaller order of growth and smaller order of growth, but it is not equal to big O of g of n. We can say that it is in little o notation. So log n to the base 2 belongs to little o of square root of n. Log n to the base 2 belongs to little o of square root of n. We have seen that in the while discussing this basics of limit using limits for orders of growth. So we have seen that is first two. First two means it is in big O notation. Okay, first two means it is in big O notation. It is not in first two notations now. It is exactly equal to 0. That's why it is in little o notation. It is having smaller order of growth. Okay, it is having smaller order of growth. Log n to the base 2, it is having smaller order of growth than square root of n. So log n to the base 2 belongs to little o of square root of n. Okay. Compare the orders of growth of n factorial and 2 to the power of n. This is the third example. We are going to compare the orders of growth of n factorial and 2 to the power of n. N factorial is t of n and g of n is 2 to the power of n. Okay. So taking the advantage of Stirling's formula. Okay. So here apply the Stirling's formula here. Again, n factorial divided by 2 to the power of n. We cannot divide it directly. We don't know the value of n. So we cannot divide it directly or we cannot simplify also. So apply the Stirling's formula. Limit n tends to infinity, n factorial divided by 2 to the power of n is equal to limit n tends to infinity. In place of n factorial, you apply Stirling's formula, square root of 2 pi n into n divided by e whole to the power of n divided by 2 to the power of n. Okay, square root of 2 pi n divided by e whole to the power of n. Okay, divided by 2 to the power of n, which is equal to limit n tends to infinity, square root of 2 pi n to the power of n divided by 2 to the power of n into e to the power of n. Okay, simplify this. So n to the power of n divided by e to the power of n, it is on the numerator. Get that e to the power of n to the denominator. And in the denominator, we have already 2 to the power of n. 2 to the power of n is already there. So 2 to the power of n into e to the power of n. So when we simplify this, we'll get square root of 2 pi n into n to the power of n divided by 2 to the power of n into e to the power of n. So which is equal to limit n tends to infinity square root of 2 pi n into n divided by 2e whole to the power of n. Apply the limit infinity here. When we apply the limit infinity, what happens? We have square root of 2 pi into infinity, which is infinity into n divided by 2 to the power of e, 2 n divided by 2e whole to the power of infinity, which is also equal to infinity. Infinity into infinity, which is equal to infinity. So we are getting infinity value. That means it is having larger order of growth. N factorial is having larger order of growth. So thus 2 to the power of n grows very fast. We know that 2 to the power of n grows very fast. N factorial grows still faster. It is faster than that. So we can write symbolically n factorial belongs to omega of 2 to the power of n. N factorial belongs to omega of 2 to the power of n. So n factorial is having larger order of growth than 2 to the power of n. Okay, I hope you understood this. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Okay, so basic asymptotic efficiency classes, we have already discussed this. So when we are going to use in the asymptotic notations with big O, omega and theta, what happens? We'll just discuss this again. So these are the basic efficiency classes. Class 1, the value is 1. The name usually we call it as constant. We need not to say it is 1 itself. Okay, we need not to say it is 1 itself. Any constant value, any number. Okay, any number usually called as constant. Okay, any positive integer number usually called as constant. It is a short value for best case efficiency. Okay, if it is best case efficiency, you know that 1 comparison, 2 comparison, 3 comparison. If it is a very small value, it will be a constant. If it is a constant, usually represents best case efficiency. Very few examples can be given since an algorithm's running time typically goes to infinity when its input size grows infinitely large. We know that when we have n value increasing rapidly, if it is increasing, then it is very difficult to have get this efficiency. Okay, this is usually for very small example with the small input value, we usually get this. Okay, then log n. Log n, name is logarithmic. When we have the efficiency classes log n, we call it as logarithmic. Typically a result of cutting a problem size by a constant factor on each iteration of the algorithm. So here you can notice that we don't have the base value here. Log n to the base 2 or log n to the base 3 is not there. Okay, if it is log n to the base 2, then problem size is reducing by half. That is n divided by 2. In every iteration, it is dividing, if it is reducing by half of it. So log n to the base 2 means divided by 2, n divided by 2. Every time the input is reducing by half of it. Okay, if it is 3, log n to the base 3, then every time the result is getting divided by 3, n divided by 3 every time. If it is 10, then it will be n divided by 10 in each iteration. So that is how it will be reducing. So you can notice here it will be cutting the problem size by constant factor. That constant factor will be the base of that logarithmic. Okay, on each iteration of the algorithm. Then we can say that it is logarithmic. Then n log n. The name for this is n log n. N into logarithmic value. So many divide and conquer algorithms fall into this category. If efficiency is n log n, then it is more than your linear efficiency. N means linear efficiency. So it is more than little bit more than that because we have log n. Okay, n into log n, and many divide and conquer algorithms falls into this category. Usually merge sort, quick sort. Okay, in its average case, we get n log n for that. Okay, while discussing merge sort and quick sort, you'll come to know about it. The next one is n square. So n square is called as quadratic. Okay, n square is called as quadratic. Typically characterizes efficiency of the algorithms with 2 embedded loops. Elementary sorting algorithms and certain operations on n by n matrices are standard examples for this. So when we have two loops, okay, embedded loops means nested loops. Nested loops, one loop within another loop. One loop within another loop. For example, for loop of with I followed by for loop of j. For example, okay. So if that is the case, when we have two embedded loops or two nested loops, usually we'll get efficiency n square. Quadratic efficiency will get n cube. N cube means qubit. Usually when we have three nested loops, when we have three nested loops, we'll get the efficiency n cube. For this also we have examples. When we learn about Floyd's algorithm, Marshall's algorithm, you'll come to know about it. Okay. Then 2 to the power of n. 2 to the power of n is usually called as exponential. Okay, 2 to the power of n is usually called as exponential. Exponential because it grows very faster. Order of growth of this algorithm which is having efficiency 2 to the power of n is more. That's why it is called as exponential. Okay, typically for algorithms that generate all subsets of an n element set, if it generates all the possible subsets of the n element set, then usually the algorithm will get the efficiency 2 to the power of n. It will be usually called as exponential because it is used in a broader sense to include this and larger orders of growth as well. Okay, 2 to the power of n means it is having larger order of growth. That's why it is called as exponential. Then n factorial. N factorial, name usually called as factorial. Typically for algorithms that generate all permutations of an n element set. If it creates all the possible permutations, then the algorithm will fall into this category, that is n factorial. Again, this is having larger order of growth. Okay, so we have seen this with your limits also, right? We have compared 2 to the power of n and n factorial. So n factorial, it is having larger order of growth than 2 to the power of n, right? So these are the efficiency classes. So 1 log n log n square, n cube, 2 to the power of n and n factorial. Okay, again you might get n to the power of 4 also. That is when we have 4 embedded loops. Okay, again, but usually these are the standard basic efficiency classes which we are going to use. Okay, I hope you understood this concept. We'll continue the remaining concept in the next class. If you have any doubts, you can ask me.